was thinking the other day that I've done all of these videos and I don't think that I've ever covered relapsing remitting MS. And it's probably the most common part of MS, isn't it? So exactly what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about it. And stay tuned if you want to know exactly what relapsing remitting MS is. Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm really glad that you're here. So we're going to have a chat today about relapsing remitting MS. And have you or someone you love been told that you've got relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis and thought, what does that even mean? Don't worry, because I've been there too. And today I'm breaking it down into plain English, without the medical jargon, and it's actually going to make sense, right? So if you're new to all this, then keep watching because this is going to explain everything. So let's start with what MS actually is. Now, multiple sclerosis is a condition where your immune system, which is supposed to protect you, gets a bit confused. It starts attacking the protective coating around your nerves called myelin, right? We know that so far. And if you're watching this channel, you'd be like, yeah, mate, we know that. So think of it like a plastic coating on a wire. If that gets damaged, the signal inside gets scrambled and doesn't go through properly. And that's exactly what happens with MS. So between your brain and your body, that cable does not work, which is, the main thing in it. So what does relapsing remitting mean? So relapsing remitting, this is the most common form of MS. When you're first diagnosed, around about 8 out of 10 people with MS start with this type. And it works in cycles. You have a relapse, then a remission, a relapse, then a remission. A relapse means new symptoms appear, or old ones come back even worse. So maybe you suddenly get blurry vision, numbness, fatigue, or weakness in your leg. These symptoms can last days, weeks, sometimes even longer. Then for a while they settle down. That's remission. So during remission, your body, calms the inflammation down and you might feel a little bit better. Sometimes almost back to normal. Sometimes not just quite, but, you feel better than you did. So relapsing remitting symptoms vary for everyone, vastly, let me tell you. But, here are a few common ones, which is the ones which you've probably all heard about or experienced yourself. Numbness, tingling, fatigue, and by fatigue I mean bone crushing tired. Vision problems like optic neuritis, that was my first one. Balance or walking issues or, brain fog or memory lapses. We've all been there too, haven't we? So just to be clear, no two people experience MS in the same way. That's what makes it such a frustrating condition. If you think of all the many people diagnosed with MS, we're all different. We have similarities, but at the end of the day, we're all different. So one of the hardest things about relapsing remitting MS is the unpredictability. You can feel fine one week and then suddenly get hit with a flare-up and it can make you, you can just kill you. Near enough. It can proper knock you down and people just don't know what's going on. So you look okay on the outside, but on the inside, your body is just glitching out in it. You've got all these windows open and you're like, what's going on? So relapsing remitting MS is treatable. Not curable, treatable. It's okay. So you can manage it. There are medications called disease-modifying therapies, which are DMTs. You've probably heard about them as well. They don't fix the damage that's already been done, unfortunately, but they can reduce how often you relapse, may slow down the long-term progression. I really apologise if you can hear a dog running around in the background, but she found a tennis ball, so I do apologise. But, some of these DMTs are, injections or tablets, but, the hard bit is finding out what is best for you. Most people with relapsing remitting MS live full lives. They might have to adapt, slow down, or find new ways to manage stress and fatigue. but they carry on. Some run marathons, absolutely brilliant. But that said, relapsing remitting MS can change over time. Some people transition into a form called SPMS, secondary progressive MS, where relapses stop but symptoms slowly get worse. That's where I am at the moment, as we know. But again, not everyone follows the same path, and new treatments are being developed all the time, which is another good thing. There's always something. People are out there trying to find something to help everybody with MS, and that's, a saving grace, isn't it? So if you've just been diagnosed, I know it's scary, okay? But trust me, I've been there and you're not alone. Start learning, get support, pace yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm rubbish at it still. I've got loads more videos if you want to have a little look in the description. If you've been, recently diagnosed, don't worry. Really, don't worry. Everything is going to be all right. We're going to get through this together. There's loads of help out there and loads of support, and there's lots of things which can be done. So I wanted to do this video, as I mentioned at the start, because, I think I missed it out. And it's probably the most important video I might ever do. So we all know now what relapsing remitting is. And, if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe. Again, as we say, as I've said all the way along this, right? If in doubt, have you thought about trying yoga?